want there to be more transparency, more data out there for people to make the decisions that are best for them.
Just around the corner.
Yasmin Abutala, Washington Post. Where do things stand with the vaping flavor ban? Do you have a sense of the timing, and are there any concerns about vape shops, either politically or them being hurt economically?
Well, the vaping issue, but more specifically e-cigarettes, is a complicated one, and I don't know if you saw the LA Times story, which was followed up with some other reporting about how this is an industry that was, again, it first started to come onto the fore of regulators and policymakers during the Obama administration. A decision was made not to bring them into regulatory compliance. We have believed that e-cigarettes are a viable alternative to combustible cigarettes. Everybody recognizes combustible cigarettes are a problem. They cause cancer. They're bad news. All sorts of other health problems, pulmonary and cardiac problems. However, the option for adults is complicated by the fact that we've now got about 5 million kids that are using these things, and that is a major public health challenge. Again, consistent with my answer earlier, we really want to make sure that we're data-driven on this and striking the right balance between adult choice and protecting kids. And that has been our focus as we look to finalize our policy. There's been late-breaking data even over the past few weeks that we have been looking at. So I can't tell you exactly where we're gonna be or the timing, but we want to make sure the data is solid and we strike the right balance between protecting kids and giving adults the choices they need to stay off combustibles.
Is there any concern about vape shops in a flavor ban and how it could hurt them?
Well, it's important to recognize that the FDA only has jurisdiction over nicotine. So, this is a world that I don't fully understand. I was too old, I guess, when the vaping stuff started. But, you can go into a vape shop and you can get flavored whatever and smoke it without nicotine, and people do that. You can also go into a vape shop and you can buy nicotine separately and mix it with the flavor, and that's fine too. So, what we're really focused on is the e-cigarette devices that have the nicotine and the flavors mixed in, and making sure that adults have options they need to get and stay off combustibles, and that kids don't become addicted to something that they otherwise wouldn't be addicted to. I mean, nobody really knows how nicotine addiction plays out over the long term. Anecdotally, there's some pretty scary stories, including personal stories I've heard from parents and older brothers, older sisters talking about what's happened to members of their family. But the data is really, in many instances, early, and that's what makes this complicated and a difficult issue to confront. But we are very focused on it and very focused on making sure that we do the right thing.
Yep.
Hi, I'm Mary Ellen with Roll Call. I'm following up on that. Is there any discussion about whether the plan would exclude menthol flavors or adult-only vaping shops? And if the ban does exclude menthol, would Juul and other e-cigarette companies be able to reclassify their mint flavor as menthol?
I don't want to get into specific details around it until it's finalized, and then we would probably have to do extensive Q&A on it, and you should anticipate that. But it's a difficult issue, and it's very FDA regulation in this space is really complicated. And on a personal level, I hate tobacco issues. I always have, and FDA shouldn't be regulating this stuff in the first place. When I was in the Bush administration and this conversation started, I said this is a moronic idea. FDA regulates drugs that help people, and you balance safety and effectiveness. It regulates devices which help people, and you balance whether or not they're safe and effective. This stuff is awful. Tobacco has no redeeming qualities, and it shouldn't be regulated by a health agency like this. All the unintended consequences, the sucking up of everybody's bandwidth on tobacco issues, is a huge distraction. The fact that an FDA commissioner like Scott Gottlieb or Ned Sharpless or whoever the next one's going to be has to spend all this time on tobacco issues when they could be trying to figure out how to advance new therapies that are going to cure cancer, how to solve cystic fibrosis, how to get more drugs approved more quickly to help more people, get more competition to bring prices down. And they're spending time on trying to navigate all this stuff. When I showed up at OMB, I told my team, doors open. Any industry can come in, any patient group, anybody can come in with a problem, bandwidth permitting. I don't want to do anything on tobacco. And you know what? I got pinged all the time. Tobacco, traditional, e-cig, everything. They want to come in, they want to explain, we're getting screwed by the FDA. We don't understand what the regulatory standards are. This is not the way the law was intended. I'm getting blown up by members of Congress about tobacco, on and on and on it goes. It is a huge waste of time for a regulatory agency like the Food and Drug Administration that should be helping us come up with the next wave of cures to be sucked in the mud on this all the time. And it's just, the unintended consequences of this law are just mind-boggling. You think about all the time that is spent on this issue. It sucks.
All right.
Follow up on that. Who should regulate tobacco then?
I don't know. I mean, it's not an official administration policy. It's my personal opinion. I really have never had this conversation with the president about who should regulate tobacco, but it has no redeeming qualities. I mean, what the hell are we doing with FDA doing this? It's just awful that we're wasting our time on this, and you're wasting your time on it.